Well, hello, this is Ryan at Rad Ideas. I would like to show you a little bit of how templates can make a difference in your creative process. So I'm going to put you on so you can see the screen of my computer, and then I'm going to talk you through the steps on some of the powerful things you can do with these templates. So I've already downloaded the file, and it's called Rad Ideas Design Templates. You'll notice it's a zip file, so I'm going to double click it to open it up, and it's going to open, and I'm going to get a list here of several things. There's email templates, print templates, social media templates, and then a template example. Okay, so I'm going to start with this Photoshop document, the template example, and show you when I was just learning design, I would go into a design like this, a Photoshop document, and I would come over here to the layers, see how the layers interacted, how the designer had built things. I'd notice things like this, that there are masks applied to different layers. And a great thing to do is to start clicking on those masks, and then if you left click to select and then right click to disable, you can kind of see, notice I just took the texture off of that. Okay, so I can do the same thing and just get an idea of what some of these layers do, how they're interacting with other things, what's happening with some of them. Okay, so using a template like this is a great way to kind of see, okay, it looks like there's a background and there's been some text that has been stacked on top of it, and then it looks like maybe there's some color added in an additional color layer. Yep, that text was brought in, it looks like in black and white, so there's a text over the top, and then the image was brought in and laid over the top. If I command click, you'll notice I can actually see the edges of that image, so that I know there's a little bit here extra, so I could do something like I could click and drag and actually move those elements around. So you'll see that there appears to be other masks, and then there's some things, there's brightness and contrast, which will change some of the look of the image. It looks like maybe kind of flattens it out, adds a little bit of yellow with the mask and the gradient map here. I'm going to turn these layer masks back on by clicking on them, left clicking. Alright, so I've got that look. So what I can see here in a quick few moments is that these layers are built out in such a way that I could actually drag the elements around in this Photoshop doc, and that's what I'd like to show you, and how the power of using some templates can help you. So I'm going to go back over to the file that I downloaded. Okay, and I'm gonna say, what print templates are here? There's a postcard front. So let's open the postcard front. Now, notice this is created 2 up, meaning you would expect that after you print it, you're gonna chop this in half, so you'll have a white border all the way around. Alright, so I'm going to go over the layers menu and just see how things are built. Now notice there's this one layer that says click to edit. So I'm going, even though it's not showing, I'm just going to click it. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now I've got a white border and I've got where the image would go. And let me show you how I would quickly then take some of these layers. Appears that they're grouped. Let's make sure we connect. I'm going to click to activate to lock the mask in place. All right. I'm going to select both of these layers. I'm going to right click, duplicate layers, and I want to duplicate them into that postcard front. Hit OK. I'm going to come back to that document. Alright, now obviously I don't want the blue, so I'm going to turn that layer off, but you'll see that I do have all of these layers here in stacks. So very quickly, I then can look through the layer menu and I can say, well, let's move some things around. I'm going to select the text and I'm going to drag that over here and maybe come up and edit free transform, grab the corners and drag it, rescale it a little bit. Okay. I then can grab the image channel that's on, click, and I can drag this up here. Now, thinking that this is a postcard, I want to make sure you actually can kind of see what's supposed to be happening and still read the text. So I've gone to Edit Free Transform, and I'm going to grab the corners again and scale this down. All right, and move this over a little bit. Can't totally see all that it says, so I'm going to do that. All right, we'll move her over a little bit. Now, I feel like they're looking okay. The placement's not too bad, but I do see that I've got a weird thing going on with this mask, and I suspect that it is this layer right here because it appears, yes, and the background also. All right, so I'm going to right click, disable the mask so that I just see the one I want to work on. Going to grab it and I'm going to free transform. Notice it gave me the box, and this time I'm going to grab a corner and spin it, and if I hit the shift it will snap it into the 90 degrees, and notice you no longer have that distortion in the middle of your image. Alright, so I then can come, so I see that my background has got that text, that distortion, but now I need to fix what goes over the whole top. So I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to do the same thing, edit, free transform. I'm going to grab the corners, drag it around, and notice here you can see it here making a difference, up here in the corners, even a little on the text. All right, so I then would say, okay, that's not too bad actually. I've gone from a beginning something to a workable. I can drag this around a little bit, maybe scale my elements a bit more, get them exactly where I want them. And here's the really cool thing about using these templates and why I love using them, so that you can make changes on the fly. Okay, so I've created room here. You could put some information on a postcard, but if I go in and I say File, Save, this is created as what's called a smart object in this original file. And you'll remember that up here we chose click to edit, and look what's happened. It has automatically brought the artwork in and placed it 2 times for you. Okay, and if you come in, you'll see then that if we printed this, you would have your nice perfect little line right there where you could trim it on your printer. So that's how quickly you can go from a piece of artwork like this that's been layered out and put it into a print version. Let's show how you can do it with maybe something else. I'm going to go back to these files. Okay, so let's say you aren't using print, and notice there are other options for print, but let's say you want to use the text for a promo you're going to do in an email. You could open the email one. Now this is set to 600 pixels wide by 200 tall, which is a pretty standard email header. Okay, so I can come over here. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to right click, duplicate, email header template. I'm going to come back over to that email header template. Notice it's huge. Okay, so I'm going to turn off that blue layer and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Oops. Okay, I'm going to edit, free transform, and I'm going to grab the corners and drag these pieces in. Right. Now, what you'll often find as you're repurposing things for all the ways you need to use them is that there are some elements that just don't work at every size that you need to include. So oftentimes you may need to do something creative with an element, like the inclusion of text or the use of even an image. And that's just something you need to kind of just be aware of, is especially if you start getting too small, that you don't need to cut something off maybe. Okay, I'm using the up and down, left and right to just kind of center that. I feel like maybe the picture is a little big still, so I'm going to scale that down. Okay. And the idea here really is to just keep consistency in the branding so that you are reusing elements, you are being consistent in what you're showing. And I'm just moving layers around here just like we did before. We'll turn that layer. That was the mask I just turned. Okay, and then pretty quickly you can see that we've got something we could use for the email. I could save it, do a save as, and I would save it as a JPEG that you could then include into your emails. All right. So you could then go back and grab one of the social media templates. Let's say we want to do a cover photo for Facebook. All right, now notice I've got a couple things marked here for you. There's a mobile safe area, meaning if you're between these two marks and it's cropped for mobile, you're going to make sure that's an area that's going to be seen. And here's the red area where your image or your thumbnail of your goes for your headshot or your church's image. Something to note is that when I'm recording this, Facebook is in the process of moving this, so soon you won't have to worry about that, but not everyone is there yet. So I've included it just so you kind of have an idea. All right, so I'm going to come back over here to the original. I'm going to duplicate the layers just like we've done before. Facebook, okay, come back to that document. Okay, all those layers there again. I'm going to move them up on, oops. All right, okay, so I like leaving those other layers on just so I can see and I don't make a mistake moving something I shouldn't. Because of the size of the Facebook window and the fact that you want it to remain legible, you may in Facebook especially have to do something creative with maybe not including all the elements. Like one thing would be to maybe put that in the center, and if you select all, which is Command A, Control A, you'll notice that you get the alignment tools pop up here. I can align the centers, and that will snap then to the center. So the cool thing then is that I could go in and turn off the layers. I'm going to turn off the red. I'm going to turn off the overlay. And you'll see really quickly then that I've got it centered, but I know when it's being shown, it's going to be in the safe area. It's not going to be run over by a photo. Okay, so that's how you quickly could then throw together a Facebook cover photo. And I hope that this gives you an idea based on all of these templates that I've included, email ones, multiple versions for print, and obviously social, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different socials, Pinterest, Google, Twitter, how you can repurpose artwork using these easy to use templates that are already formatted to the size and shape that you need, and even have notes for you. So once again, this is Ryan Hulk. I hope you have found this helpful.